Hello, everyone. So we're about 2 weeks out from our motorbike ride. So we're looking at 3 to 5 or 6 blokes originally, but I think we've narrowed it down, probably just three of us. So we'll do a bit of an intro of who's going along and what the bike ride itself is actually going to be and where we're actually going. We're looking at doing a likely 4 day ride in Victoria. Um, so this was a ride recommended by Chris. So Chris has been carrying around this ADV Rider magazine from 2016 with him everywhere. So he threw him the magazine and said, "We're going to do this. This is what we're doing." Um, so me being sort of the tech savvy guy a bit more and have access to computers and all that sort of stuff a bit more, and love playing around with these sort of things, I read through and looked at everywhere they went. So it's going through all the Vic High Country, really nice ride. So we're looking at possibly, at the moment, I've plotted it for 3 days, but it's about 300 Ks a day. So day one, we definitely want to do the 300 and get to Erica for day one. But then I think we'll split it across and stay the extra days, sort of stay Myrtleford and then stay Woods Point, so we get 2 extra nights. So it's similar to this lap, so we'll have a bit of a look through it soon. So coming on this trip, we've got Chris. So Chris is my mate's wife. She's also my mate as well, her father. So I've known him probably 15, 18 years, living in Melbourne. And he's almost, I always describe him as like an Albie Mangles bloke. If anyone from Australia knows Albie Mangles. So anything with a motor he loves. So from building car motors, cars themselves, playing with motorbikes, boats, water skiing's his big thing as well, jet skis, the whole lot. Anything with a motor, motorsport, he loves it. So he first recommended this trip. So he's on board. Possibly one of his mates. We're still not sure yet. Then obviously myself, who's the amateur. So Chris is about in his mid-60s, been riding forever. And then the other person is Kevin. So Kevin's actually my chiropractor. So I met him going to the chiropractor. So I sort of go every month just for maintenance. So going to see him over the last 10, 15 years, built up a friendship there. And then I mentioned I was getting a bike and he said, we wouldn't mind getting back into it. He'd recently bought an older Honda Transalp. So it's sort of chatting with him every month when I catch up, and then started riding the motorbike with him. And he's just really excited and enjoying getting back into motorbikes and back into the adventure riding side. His background is actually Honda sponsored team racer in New Zealand for enduros, and his main thing was the scramble races and the hare races, I think they were called, hare scramble races. He used to love. So he did that back in the 80s when the first sort of Pro Link rear suspension came in. So I happened to find one photo of him from back in the day. So this is our first main ride together as three of us, and especially heading away and overnight. So I've done some rides with Kevin all around the Yarra Valley area, a few different rides, and I've only done one ride with Chris just after the cafe. So it'll be an exciting trip for all of us. We're looking forward to it. So as you can see here, it's plotted as a 3 day, green being day one, blue day two, day three being your red. But I think we're going to definitely do day one, get that out of the way, because we want to camp in a rural location, sort of not in town anywhere, in a small town we want to stay in. And then we might shorten day at the other days, so we end up getting 3 further days. So it's obviously sort of circumnavigating everything. So the point of this trip is to do a big scoping trip, really, look around everywhere. If we see some points of interest, we can plot them for future trips away. We're sticking with the main roads. Saying that, they're pretty much majority are beautiful, maintained gravel roads. Some bitumen, obviously, maintained gravel, not that much that's unmaintained at all. So that's the aim of this trip, to cruise along. So we start the trip for this one out the Yarra Glen area. So we all live out that sort of side of town. So we'll start it there. From Yarra Glen, we sort of head along through Coldstream, Wandon, Yalingbo, across the top of the Bunyip State Forest. So we cruise around the edge of that. Then we cruise on down, and we can cut across here directly to sort of the blue line where Erica is there if we want, depending how we feel on the day. But the main aim is to head down to Merboo North through Mount Worth State Park, and then there's some nice roads here, and cruising on, there's a nice cafe in Merboo North to stop at. And then from there, we cruise across to Hazelwood, up past Traralgon, and we aim to end night one in Erica. So like I said, we want to stay at pubs, country towns and pubs. So we're not taking any cooking equipment. We are taking camping gear in case we don't make it to a pub on a particular night or we just decide to camp. but we'll just be eating fruit and muesli bars if we do end up camping. From there, Erica, we wake up the next day. We're aiming to head Rawson, Walhalla, head straight across all the way to Hayfield. So it's a nice section of road here to cruise through. Looks quite good. It's all just gravel, pretty much the whole lot, all of that, all the way to and Hayfield. Bitumen, obviously, where all the paddocks are. Then from there, we're heading up. We end up, once you get past Dargo, I think it changes name to the Dargo High Plains Road, which is pretty much the road the entire way. So it's majority of it, I think, is unsealed. There's obviously sections of sealed as well. I don't know, so we'll find that out when we start heading along there. Good thing about Google Earth Pro is you can chuck your little man down and he'll show you the street view as to whether it's going to be bitumen or whether it's going to be road. Now, annoyingly, it doesn't record it. So that one there showed us that it was dirt road at that point. Sometimes it does show up in the recording, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. So from here, we cruise on through the valley and get to Dargo. And then from Dargo, we start heading on up the Dargo High Plains Road. So that's what you can see here. So all this blue area is all the Dargo High Plains Road, or the prior road before it was named that, prior to hitting Dargo. I'm not sure where the name changes. But you can see all the beautiful switchbacks, windy road running across the top of the ridge. So beautiful scenery and things to look at here. As I said, there are lots of offshoots, tracks to do. We're probably not going to be doing those tracks this trip. Our bikes aren't set up. I'm not probably skilled enough to attack a lot of those. But you can see here, so this is obviously a bitumen area, so you can see the condition of the road and the nice scenery that you're going to see here on the street view. So yeah, we'll scope out other locations for future trips. And there are a few nice little offshoots that we might take that are real close to this main road, but we haven't got a lot of time either. If we're hitting 250 to 300 Ks a day on gravel, majority of it, you got to start punching along. And we don't want to limit seeing other things as well, and any sort of museums at Harrietville and stuff like that. So we'll cruise along, but we'll probably hop in here to Renee's Lookout and those sort of ones because they're right there, nice and easy to get to. But a lot of the nice tracks as well don't continue through. You've got to double back on yourself and come back, and you can sort of waste an hour and a half doing those. So not this trip. And it ends here past Bright onto Myrtleford, you can see here. So Myrtleford will most likely not be staying there. It would have been night 2, but I think we might stop at Harrietville and then pass through Myrtleford maybe for morning tea, and then we start our return leg. So the return leg here, I think once you get past Mansfield, it starts being called the C510. So a bit of trivia on that road. They paved or bitumised 7 kilometres of it back in the 50s, 54 maybe, when the Queen came out, because it was talk that she may tour out that area to all the works going on for the water at Eildon and all those sort of things, but never did. So 7 kilometres of it is bitumised between Mansfield and Warburton, somewhere there. I think it's the first 7 up near Eildon. But I'm not sure about the rest of it and nowadays, whether a lot of it's bitumised or a lot of it's still gravel. Looking on the net, I still can't find it clear as to what it is. So obviously we'll find that out when we travel. But it looks like a beautiful road. Look at the switchbacks there. It's just a phenomenal amount of nice turns and cruising along. So here we might take it a nice relaxing day possibly, I think. So we stay the 3 nights and we'll stop at Woods Point. So Woods Point would be our last night instead of having to push all the way home. So I think we'll cruise in, look at seeing get accommodation at Woods Point at the pub there, and then we cruise all the way home to Yarra Glen on the, 4th day of riding. So we're leaving on a Sunday at 10 a.m. So the first day will be a bit of a push doing the 300 Ks, but that's fine. And then we'll have 3 nights. So Erica, night 1, possibly Harrietville, possibly Woods Point. That's the aim. Knock all that out. It's about 1,000 Ks, and we'll aim for sort of 3.5 days of riding. So we'll leave it there. Next videos will be the actual ride. Cheers.